I got $20 in my pocket. This is a come up. This is fucking awesome. I went and brought some granddad's clothes, and I look incredible as I don't fuck around and play a show. I speak top shit, yo. I'm straight to the point, you know. I don't play around. What do you call a lawyer, yo? And I want to talk about a subject, and it's gonna go just like this. Have you ever done it? Thrift shopping, eh? Now, who hasn't been to a thrift shop? You let me know in comments. I could be the only one in the groups of people I know. There could be different ones out there that in their lifetime that you've seen, people with money or not, right, pop some tags, not steal the item, but change prices, right? See, the first part of justifying, in a way, is to change the price tag. So people will go in there for shops and they'll go $15 for this with a sticker, $10 for that, and they're like, well, I ain't going to pay $15. So they pull that off, and or they don't think it's worth, and they get the 10, they put the 10 on, and they put the 15 over there. Right? You all know that trick. So who hadn't seen that back in the day when you could do it? Back in the day, you can't do things so easy now. As you go in a thrift shop now, and the basic standard now is the price is not there. Sorry, you can't buy it. That's what they do here in Australia. So if you're having that problem overseas, people, and you haven't got that far yet, that's what they do now. And then you reprice it and make sure the person who prices it right. But sometimes they might do that to hope to get a cheaper price, but it might backfire and get a higher price. When you do such stupid things like that, hoping for that trick by just pulling off tags and hope they come back cheaper. And so people did things, and some people literally took tags off. Right? Some people just put clothes on and walk out. Right? And some people did this because they had ego and they can just do it, so they did, and they didn't need to. You know, the rich ones, you've heard about rich people stealing and stuff like that. And then some people did it because they need to, and their money was precious. They could have bought it, but they're already getting in debt and having problems or need money where they couldn't do such an action somewhere else. And so they do an action there to save money for somewhere else. Right? People do this all the time. That's actually what I call loopholes. They still happen today. People do these loopholes to try to get what they want. So business people try to get the highest tag on there, and then other people are going, well, this is bullshit, and either not pay or get the lowest, want to get a lower tag in some sort of way. And so they try to do it justify themselves by changing tags. Right? And then at least the store sold it. If they were greedy, at least they're getting something. Right? If the tag's too low and they're ripping them off, well, that's not a good thing. But you know what I mean? Where does it justify in the middle? Like, who's actually doing wrong when it comes to that sector? I'm happy to debate that sector. There's things I actually talk about a lot when it comes to who's actually ripping off who. Who's not satisfying the quota, right? When it comes to reasonable pricing for the product, what the product is, where it's coming from. They got it donated, so why do they need so much? It's better to have something little than more. Things like that. And that's why we change policies if you can figure it out. Definitely if things are not working, we bring someone in from the town or whoever who's smarter to come in and figure it out. It's piece of cake stuff. That's what they call learning standards when you've never learnt, and then you get the answer. Right? That's what humans are meant to be good at. But they've lost the sense of priorities, main priorities, food. Look, we're all starving and all these problems because we lost the sense of the main priorities, right, of connection and what we should have mainly going so everyone's cool and happy and can get the work easy and not have to stress about certain things. And yet all we want to know about is the newest phone, the newest rockets, all these things that doesn't really help the priorities now that everyone's screwing about. Now we can't do good with the rockets and all these things because now we're having wars and now this is getting delayed, and see what happens. And so what I'm trying to say is it best to just work together and come up with a price? And if we did that, would you have seen people do bad things in the first bad thing, is in they're trying to justify. So they believe they're right in the way they think about being ripped off and all that kind of stuff, right? And say, which way what do you call justify? Is that true? We hear people debate about this all the time. Or is it the company that can just price whatever it wants, and it's angry because it should be allowed to just do that, and it thinks it's not getting its justification. You see? So which one's more righteous, right, when it comes to that? And of course, the person who just steals straight out, well, that's not righteous, is it? And so there's a fine line in these areas. But you know what most systems do? They punish all the same. Happens in a lot of sectors. It's a little bit like the drug sector, where they pull over people and try to find out who's dangerous, who's not, and they don't. And they can figure out certain things with certain tests, but they're going to punish everybody with it just because. It's not right, is it? Right? But anyway, they do what they do. And that's why we have debate sometimes, and who's in the right when it comes to debate. And that's why we have religion, because religion is meant to help us guide us into who's doing right, and science. And science tells us that if it goes good, then it's a good thing. And control's not too much of a good thing unless it's with electronics or something that we make, not that God created. So we're allowed to control more that we make, which is pricing and all that. And if people don't pay, we don't. That's why we find that justified middle part when it comes to pricing a lot of times, isn't it? And that's why you're probably seeing a lot of stealing now, as pricings are very high and people are struggling in all sorts of areas, right? And not just for the poor, but for even the standard, because the standard have to fill the hole for everything, for the poor and the rich, as the rich just like to hold, as we see and we know with science and fact and with research, that they hold 90% of their wealth, that they keep collecting every year more than they put out. They give me 100 and here's 10 back if you're lucky, to circulate the money, and that causes a problem in itself. But anyway, have a good one, everybody, and you let me know what you think in comments, of what you believe is justification, and what was right and what was wrong, and do you get that point? Let me know. Have a good one.